Hi, Burn Nation. I'm so excited to invite you to join us on March 7th at Burn Bootcamp headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina, to learn more about changing lives in your community by owning your own Burn Bootcamp location. You will meet myself, Devin, Trisha Pena, and Matt Morris, also hosts of this podcast, and more of our amazing leadership team. So be sure to click the link in the podcast description to register now. We can't wait to meet you. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. It's one of your hosts, Morgan Kline, and I am going to talk about how to manage stress and anxiety through fitness. So, obviously, stress and anxiety can show up differently for a lot of us, and some of us don't even think we're stressed, but in our body, we are stressed. And so I want to talk a little bit about how me personally has dealt with stress in my life and how I use fitness and how it's really impacted my mental health. And so, I've shared this story before if you have listened to all of my podcasts, but about a year ago, maybe a year and a half by now, I went to the doctor because I was having just weird things happening with, my body. I wasn't feeling my best. I wasn't feeling right. And, I thought to myself, well, I've had 3 kids in the last 7 years, and maybe my body's just kind of going through something hormonally. So I went to the doctor, asked him to run a panel on me, and kind of was just asking questions. And, he was like, "So are you stressed? Like, is there anything going on in your life?" And I am somebody who doesn't get stressed in the common sense of the word of like, I'm stressed out. Cause when I think of stressed, I think like it changes your mood and it changes how you can even go about your day. And I just am somebody who goes about my day and doesn't feel like the stress of the world impacts me. He gave me a different perspective of you may not be feeling stress, but your body's going through a lot of stress. Your mind is going through a lot of stress. And so I had just switched jobs from being COO to CEO. And so in my mind, again, it's I'm just going through the motions. I got this. This is my life. My life for the last 10 years has been just busy and, managing kids and having a growing business and just having problems in my business even, right? I got through the pandemic. I can get through anything else. And so, all that to say that he was like, there's ways that you're putting stress on your body that you don't even really know, whether that's you're not getting enough sleep or your hormones are messed up because you're not eating first thing when you wake up and you're just drinking coffee for the first 4 hours of the day and you're drinking an energy drink in the afternoon. And then, you're probably not eating enough calories. And so he was so right. And I just needed to take a look at stress in a different way. And so, anxiety isn't necessarily anything that I do have in my life, but stress for sure. I know I'm putting my body and my mind through stress that shows up in ways where I don't think you normally would see it. And so how have I used health and fitness to combat that? Number one is I've started to look at how what I'm putting in my body and how I'm managing just my sleep levels. So that's number one is how much sleep am I getting? How much sleep do I need to get? So I ordered the Aura ring and I don't wear it anymore because I'm not a huge fan of putting things on my wrist and my fingers and just tracking. I don't like getting too focused on data, but I'm somebody that likes to get baselines and likes to learn my body, and then I can be in tune with my body. So sleep was the first thing that I walked out of that doctor's office and is am I getting enough of it? And so I started to track my sleep, and I am truly somebody, and my husband and I kind of not argue about this, but we're different. And so he's somebody that needs 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And I thought that when I got 5 or 6 hours, more than that I was sleeping in. But I need a good 8 hours of sleep. My body just needs it. And so I was able to look at my Aura ring on the times that I didn't get a lot of sleep. And then the times that I did get my 8 hours of sleep, I'll take 9 if I can get 9, which means I go to bed a lot earlier than him because I also don't like waking up late because I like getting up before the kids. I like to just get my day going. So that means I needed to start shutting down my day a little bit earlier. So once the kids go down, it's I started to focus a little bit more on my nighttime routine and prioritizing just getting to sleep a little bit earlier. And sleep now is something that has really helped me with my stress levels. And so I know that when I don't get a lot of sleep or if I drink and then I try to sleep, like that totally throws me out of whack, drinking alcohol. And so there's things that like I've started to do that I know was putting stress on my body, which in turn will put stress on your mind, right? When you're going through or you're putting through your body through things and you're not taking care of it, eventually that's going to catch up and it's going to show up in mental health and the stress that we output and the anxiety that we might feel. So the reason I'm not talking about working out right now is because there's so many things that need to come before that. And yes, I want everybody to be active and move. And I'm a part of a fitness company. So working out is important. But if you don't take care of the other parts, none of that's going to matter. You're actually just contributing to a problem that your body is feeling. And so sleep to me has been the number one priority. And so that was a big aha when, again, I was like tracking my Aura ring and tracking my sleep and my recovery and things like that. And then the second thing was like my diet and just because I'm not a bad eater, but I also wasn't eating enough. Like I'd gotten into this cycle again where I was not eating breakfast first thing. I was like getting to the office and like at 10:30 I'd be starving and I didn't really have like the good protein sources to get my 120 grams, which is my goal to get in a day. So, what does your sleep look like? And then what does your diet look like, from a protein perspective? So, that is how wellness and like nutrition helps me deal with stress is making sure that I'm fueling my body with enough nutrients to get me through the day. Because once I do put my feet on the floor, I don't stop. Like, I don't stop until I go to bed at night. And that's a lot for your body, right? We're constantly overwhelmed with just things to do, right? Whether that's work and then it's like all the different screens that we're scrolling on and just the constant like stimulation. Stimulation. Does anyone else that's listening to this get overstimulated on a daily basis? Because I do. When I'm at home sometimes it's like my three kids and then it's like if the TV's on or like then the food's cooking on the stovetop, like there's a lot of overstimulation in a given day. And so that was another thing I had to start to manage because that's when you'll see me get a little bit stressed or anxious is when I'm overstimulated. So I needed to figure out what are some of those triggers where I'm feeling that in a given day where I'm like just getting overwhelmed and what are some tips that I can combat that. So whether that's email, social media, or actually something at your home, how can you impact that overstimulation and that's that constant like need for your attention? Your brain needs to just relax at times. And so for me, it's like just building in that discipline of like, okay, do I need to go walk away from my computer for a minute and just go talk to some people in the office and just get my brain working in a different way? Because it's easy for like things to just pile up in your inbox or your social media feed. Like put the phone down and actually go have some human interaction or go take a walk around the building. Like those are little things that I am doing to make sure that the stress doesn't build up and show up in this like way where I'm overstimulated and I'm, not able to really operate at my full potential. So sleep, stressors, and obviously the protein I talked about. And now let's talk about working out. How does working out impact my mental health? It's the one time where I get to just kind of forget about everything that's happening and just move my body. And so two things I've done differently about my workouts. Like number one, it's noon. It's at noon. I really don't miss it unless there's something that's like a fire drill and I need to. But that is my hour, whether that is going upstairs and going to camp or it's kind of checking out for a little bit. But I need that 45 minutes where I don't need to look at my phone. I don't need to worry about anything else. I can just go up there, move my body. And some days I'm not feeling like I want to lift the 25-pound weights, and that's okay for me. Like I've also given myself grace if like there is something that I'm feeling or something going on or I didn't get enough sleep. Like I'm going to adjust my workouts accordingly. And listen, my trainers they still push me and they know my limit if I tell them, but I'm still pushing myself, but I'm also not going 100 if I'm not feeling 100. And so I think that you don't have to not work out, right? Because that's the thing I used to do. I used to be like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today, so I'm not going to go at all. And then that piles up over time. And then I am like, I'm not getting that time to myself to move my body. And so I've just learned to still go and like go through that motion, but maybe take it down 25% if you need to. Because when I leave the workout, you always feel better. Like, I don't know I can't even tell you one time that I have gone to a workout really not feeling it and then left really not feeling it. Like, you always feel better about a workout or just moving your body. And so again, like just adjusting my intensity has been something that I've changed, and I've seen an impact on how I feel when I go home and like the energy that I have for the rest of my day. Um, Both work and being around my kids. So I believe there's a big link in how we're taking care of our body, how we're using wellness and fitness into how our mental health is, performing for us. And so I would encourage you to look at all of those things. Look at your sleep. Look at the protein intake that you have and the nutrition that you have. Look at what's overstimulating you. And then, are you moving every single day? Are you getting anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes of time where you can just focus on you and you can really shut the world down and not worry about the social media, not worry about the emails, not worry about the decisions that you have to make as a boss or a mom or whatever your role is in life. So those are the things that have really helped me be on my mental health game. And I look forward to you guys having some of those changes and impacts into your life. So thank you guys for listening to the Burn Boot Camp podcast. As always, we are going to end like we do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.